Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. And in this video I'll be showing you every single block that has its own inventory in Minecraft. So of course you as the player have your own inventory. Here is the inventory in creative mode with all of these different tabs showing all the different blocks you can access, including this operator utilities one on the bottom right. And here's a survival inventory which looks slightly different with a 2x2 crafting grid and your player character right here. But there are many different blocks in Minecraft that have its own unique inventories, and so we'll go over all of these in today's video. And so please subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos just like this one. And most of these blocks are actually already right behind me and were in the thumbnail of course, but let's go over all of these. Starting with the different storage container blocks. So those are blocks such as the barrel. Its inventory looks like this and you can just store items in it. 27 stacks to be exact. And so there are a couple more variations. There's of course the original chest, which does the exact same. However, you can of course expand the chest into a double chest like this to have double the storage space in a singular block. The same thing you can do with a trapped chest, as you can see here. However, if you open a trapped chest or a double trapped chest, it will give off a redstone output, as you can see, while you have the chest open, and when you close the chest, then the redstone output stops. Then we also have the ender chest, which will have the same items in it, independent of where you place down an ender chest or how many ender chests you place down. It will always have your same items in there. And they're all linked, as you can see right there. And then finally there's of course also the shulker boxes, which function almost the same, except for they are slightly different, because if you're in survival mode, you can actually just pick up these shulker boxes with the items inside of them and place them back down somewhere else later, and they will still have those items in there. And there's also 17 different versions of the shulker box, the regular one, plus all the different colored shulker boxes. But they all do exactly the same. Next is one of the most important blocks in the game is of course the crafting table, which allows you to craft items using a 3x3 grid instead of the regular 2x2 grid available in your survival mode inventory. And this allows you to craft pretty much any item in the game. Then we have the three different furnace blocks, which are the regular furnace, the smoker, and the blast furnace. The furnace has a bottom slot for fuel, a top slot for the thing you want to smelt, and an output slot on the right. The regular furnace will just cook or burn any different type of item, so for example iron ore, but also you can make baked potatoes in this block as well. You can see that we get an iron ore, and we can also do the same with the potato if we take this iron ore out. And in the recipe book you can see there's two different tabs, one for food and one for smelting ores. And that's pretty much what these other two blocks are for. So the smoker will double the speed of cooking food. So if you throw some potatoes in here, you can see that the speed is drastically increased, and so food can be cooked twice as fast, but the smoker cannot cook any ores or anything like that. Then the blast furnace is the opposite, because this one can cook ores twice as fast as a regular furnace, but cannot cook any food. There we go, that is quite significantly faster than a regular furnace. And the animation of the smoker is probably one of the nicest animations on a block in the game. Next up is the anvil, which has a nice sound when you place it down. This inventory has two input slots on the left and a single output slot on the right. And so there's three main uses of the anvil. Of course, you can use it to rename items up here. And you can also add enchantments using enchanted books. But all of these will cost XP levels. And here it says how much. But that is possible. And furthermore, you can also use it to repair your items by adding the correct item to it. So for example, for diamond armor, you would add diamonds. But for the elytra, you would add phantom membranes. But again, of course, you can rename this as well, as you can see here. And if you use the anvil too much, then it will turn into a chipped anvil and finally into a damaged anvil. And once you use this one too much, it will actually break. The dropper and the dispenser can be used to drop and dispense items, as their name suggests. And so the difference between a dispenser and a dropper is that a dispenser can sometimes shoot something, while a dropper always just drops the items. So in both cases I have diamonds in here, which means they do exactly the same and both just shoot out the diamond like this. But if instead of diamonds we put in arrows, here you will see the difference. On the right, the dropper will just fire out the arrow item, and on the left the dispenser will shoot out an actual arrow, which can do damage. The loom is also a block with its own inventory and is used to create different banners, something like this for example. You can add banner patterns or not if you want to get some special different patterns, like this globe one over here. which looks quite cool even on its own. The stonecutter is a block that, as its name already implies, will cut stone. So if you put any type of stone into the stonecutter, like for example tuff or stone or mossy cobblestone or blackstone or whatever, as you can see, it will give you the different options that can be made using this specific stone. And you can create it by just putting in a single piece of stone and outputting a single piece of the other type. So you can make one sandstone into one chiseled sandstone, or one blackstone into a blackstone wall, or even into a polished blackstone brick wall. This can be cheaper than using a crafting table. The hopper is a block that is usually used in combination with other blocks that have inventories. And that's because if you put items instead of this hopper, like for example this stack of redstone dust, it doesn't do much on its own. It only has 5 inventory slots, as you can see. And if you place a container next to it with the hopper pointing into it, it will take out those items and put them into the other container. Furthermore, you can also throw items into the hopper by just throwing them in like this. That means that they go into the hopper right down here. Same thing if I throw this hopper in here, it's in there. Then we also have the cartography table, which can actually be used to manipulate maps in many different ways. If you want a full tutorial on this block, I have made a video on it, link is in the top right of your screen. But essentially you can use it to copy, lock, or enlarge maps in Minecraft. Then the smithing table is used to upgrade your armor from diamond to netherite, and also for applying armor trims. And you can also see an example of how this will look like with the armor stand there. So you just put in your armor, then the netherite upgrade, and then a netherite ingot to turn your diamond armor into netherite armor. And the other thing you can do is add armor trims to your armor. So for example, you can add a silence armor trim to your netherite armor using, for example, gold or a different material. And this will turn your netherite armor into something a little more fancy. But this is only a visual change and doesn't do anything to add extra defense to your armor. Next up is the grindstone, and it can be used to either repair or disenchant items. So in here, for example, if you put in an enchanted item, like this pickaxe over here, you can remove the enchantments. Now in this case, you might not want to do this, but what it will do is give you some XP back. So go to survival mode, you can see that we have approximately half a level of XP. And so we put this diamond pickaxe in here with these enchantments and take this one out. You can see that we gain 6 levels. And the other thing you can do is repair items by combining 2 broken items into one fully repaired one. Of course, in this case, again, not that great of a deal, but you will get a slight bonus if both of these are on very low durability. This one will have a higher durability than the durability of these 2 items combined. The brewing stand is a block that is used mainly for potion brewing. And for this you will always need blaze powder, bottles, and then usually first turn these water bottles into awkward potions using some nether wart. I have a full tutorial on how to use the brewing stand, link to this on the top right of your screen. The enchanting table is a block that can be used to enchant your items. This is what its inventory looks like. You can put the item in this slot over here, and then you can see 3 different enchantments, which at least contains efficiency 4 here, at least contains fortune 1, and at least contains efficiency 2. And then you have to put in either 1, 2, or 3 lapis lazuli, depending on which one you want to use. So if you want to get this bottom enchantment, you always need to put in 3 lapis lazuli. And so this 30 means that you need at least 30 levels to apply this enchantment, but it will only cost you 3 levels, as you can see on the left here, and also 3 lapis lazuli. If you don't have any bookshelves around your enchanting table, that means that these levels on the right will be lower. So let's see what we get apart from efficiency 4. We got Unbreaking 3 as well. The beacon is another block with its own inventory, so if you right click it, this is what it looks like. To activate a beacon, you will need at least 1 layer of blocks below it, and the blocks need to be either iron blocks, gold blocks, netherite blocks, emerald blocks, or diamond blocks. And if you add more layers to your pyramid, you also get access to more effects you can apply using this beacon. And if you make a full pyramid, you can actually get a secondary power, but in this case we can only get haste 1. And to actually get the effect, what we need to do is put in one of these 5 items and then click the check mark. And now indeed we have haste 1 while we are near this beacon. And then the final block with its own special inventory is a block that will be released in Minecraft 1.21. It is the crafter. Its inventory looks something like this, and you can place items in there just like a normal crafting table. However, instead of being able to take out the item, you actually have to activate the crafter with a redstone signal for this item to be spit out. So doing something like this. There we go. And you can also disable the slots inside of the crafter if you need that for auto crafting. And so there we go, that's all the blocks in Minecraft that have their own inventories. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe!